Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my experience podcast. And today we want to bring you a very exciting topic, um, which is titled Career Clarity. And with me today, you will see on the screen is Mr. Uwem Umana, who is a, a regular visitor on the show. And there is this a very, very important topic that we have been discussing for some times now, and we said we are going to make it a very, very episodic uh, section so that we can bring Mr. Wem, who have a wealth of experience in that area, to take us through the journey of career clarity. And I will let Mr. Wem to introduce himself again before we crack on for the day. Good evening, Mr. Wem. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Joe, for bringing me back on the studio again. It's always nice to be back on the studio.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Uwem Umana. I'm a mindset coach, career coach. I'm also a business analyst. I'm also an educational consultant. I'm a writer, a short storyteller. I wear a lot of hats. I'm in the IT space, and one of my areas of specialization is in digital transformation. And digital transformation, without getting the humans that are going to manage the transformation ready, is not going to work. That is the current project I've been handling, that human element that everything hinges upon. So when it comes to career, it comes to things about moving yourself from where you are to where you want to be. That is the man to go to, Uwem Umana. Thank you for having me on board.
You're welcome today.
Yeah.
And obviously the topic that will be taken on for the section is a career clarity. And can you touch a little bit on that particular heading?
Well, Joe, yeah, thanks for that. A lot of people struggle with having a career clarity. Career clarity is basically having a clear-cut idea on the path where you want to follow in life. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Just having a clarity, sense of clarity on what to follow. There's so many ways of knowing how to find out what pathway to follow. But career clarity is about having that clear-cut clarity on which way should I follow. Invest my energy, my resources, my time, my talent into in making something big out of it for the benefit of myself and the people around me.
Yeah. That's thank you so much. Okay, so before we go on the first question for today,
Yep.
I want to talk a little bit on the especially people. How can people and people creative students how can people discover career that are aligned to their strength and their passion?
Thank you very much for that, Joe. Now, discovering a fulfilling career, yeah, starts with deep self-awareness. That's the starting point. Remember the word I said, deep self-awareness. Young people and creatives should begin by exploring three key areas. The first thing is, what are you naturally good at?
Yeah.
Those are your strengths. Okay. Are you with me?
Yes.
What are you naturally good at? What excites and energizes you? That's the second one, passion. And the third one is, what problems in the world do you feel drawn to solve? That's your purpose. So three things in fulfilling your career starts with that deep self-awareness. What are you naturally good at? Your strengths. What excites and energizes you? Your passion. And what problems in the world you feel drawn to solve? That's your purpose. Now, journaling, asking for feedback from mentors, peers, reflecting on moments where you feel most alive can reveal patterns. Volunteering, internships, and side projects are excellent ways to test different career paths without a long-term commitment. Because sometimes you need to test something. You know what I'm saying? Okay, should I go this way? Should I go that way? So when you volunteer, you could say, okay, well, okay, you volunteer for a week, a month, 2 months. It works. No, it's not the way I want to go. Or internship, side projects. Okay, I enjoyed it, but would I want to spend the rest of my life there? Probably not.
Yeah.
And when we talk about even this career thing, don't forget that we have so many factors affecting career. For example, I give you those who studied petroleum engineering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's naturally a dead end. Naturally, just a
Yeah.
dead end because fossil fuel is becoming less. It's becoming less. It's not the kind of thing that everybody going to now in Europe. Okay, so it's a dead end. So no matter how you are passionate about fossil fuel, you cannot go into make a career out of it because it's naturally dying a natural death. So what do? You have to shift into maybe fossil fuels or something along those lines, or alternative sources of energy. So whatever career choices you're making has to be in tandem with, has to be in line with, in sync with the current realities at the time. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So is there any tools that can help someone figure out what truly want to do? That
Yes, very good question. There are personality assessment tools like MBTI, Clifton Strengths, or the Holland Code, RIASEC. This can help, to identify natural preferences. If you just go online, type in MBTI, Clifton Strengths, or the Holland Code, just take the free test, and it will help you to identify your sort of natural preferences. Another thing you can do is value-based exercises, such as, designing your life framework or vision board can help to align your career goals with personal priorities. Yeah. The program we run, Beyond Barriers, we have a section that we do what we call some deep self-awareness. We have a framework that we use where we do some SWOT analysis, value strength analysis, and all those things, and we align them before you can now finally craft out what your vision statement would be. So that helps as well.
Yeah.
And career coaching, mentorship conversations, and informational interviews expose people to real world insights, And I tell you something else that could help. There's this Japanese model called the Ikigai model. Okay. This is actually the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs and what you can be paid for. It's also another powerful tool, that you can use. And also, you can look at introspection. Just sit down, ask yourself, just introspect. You know what I'm saying? What is really good for me? What just ask yourself some probing questions, interrogate yourself. And from the interrogation you give yourself, you will be able to come up with some things that can help you as well to know which way to follow in life.
Okay. There's one thing I wanted to chip in here is about you mentioned the mentorship. Is there any age bracket that somebody can seek for mentorship?
What do you mean by any age bracket that someone can
Like,
seek for?
when we talk about young people, mentorship, internship, that look as if it's only people who are younger that can look for somebody to mentor them. That is the reason I asked. Is it a restricted age that somebody can say, I want to look for a mentor?
No, there's no restricted age.
So even an
Because
adult can look for somebody to mentor them.
mentorship is all about looking for someone who is more experienced in the area you want to go into that will provide guidance and support for you. That's what it means.
Okay.
So you could be 50 years old, you could be 60 years old, you could be 80 years old, you could be 18 years old. And if you're going into relatively new terrain, or you want to upskill or upscale yourself, from where you are to where you want to be, it's good to look for somebody who has been on that pathway before to act as a guiding post, a GPS for you to guide you through your journey.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I want to still ask something about mentorship because
Okay.
in recent history, I don't know. It looks as if like mentoring is a little bit a new a new method. And it look as if like so many of our young people today, especially back home, they are not they are not they don't understand the valuable impact mentorship could play in their career growth. Do you have anything to say about that?
It's you cannot live above what you know, Joe. You see what I mean? You cannot live above what you know.
Mhm.
So people back home are acting that way because that's what they know. The importance of coaching and mentoring and mentorship cannot be overemphasized. It's very important.
Mhm.
Traditionally speaking,
Mhm.
we had that via a system called apprenticeship
Yeah.
in the traditional Igbo
Evil
business
business.
environment,
Yeah.
whereby if you wanted to go into a particular line of business,
Mm.
you go and meet somebody who is successful in that line of business,
Mhm.
and you become an apprentice, and they mentor you.
Mhm.
They teach you. You spend some 3 years with them. Yeah.
Mhm.
They teach you all the ins and outs of the business.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 3 years, or when they certify that you are fit, you're competent enough to run this business on your own, they now
Mm.
give you a capital and open
Mhm.
a shop for you,
Yeah.
a business for you to start off your own business. That is the traditional way we did it. So it's nothing really new. We've been doing it from way back, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. But obviously, these days, it has been transcended into maybe career path in a corporate world where so many it look as if it's a new thing that
No,
people don't really give much emphasis on.
no, it's not. It's not. It's not new. It's not. To be honest with you, it's not new. It's something that has been on for a long time,
Mm.
and will always be on. But I will agree with you that, or I will have the perspective that some companies or some
Mm.
organizations
Mm.
are more structured
Mm.
in providing this support to people who are just coming on board.
Mm.
Like you join a new organization, they can give you a body. Say, this
Yeah.
is your body.
Yeah.
That's going to help you transition into your new role.
Mm.
Or they can get somebody who is a more senior and more experienced person. They attach you to the person to help you through your role
Mm.
in the organization.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's about that mentoring, that
Yeah.
coaching, and then you have a line manager. The line manager is not just supposed to line manage, you're supposed to provide guidance to help you through your settling in and to help you think
Mm.
about your future in the company. Don't forget that when you go into a company place, they ask you, what's your future plan? Why do
Mm.
you want to join this company?
Yeah.
And you will say, okay, I see myself growing with this company. I see
Mhm.
myself spending time to grow with the opportunities and all of that kind of stuff. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mm.
That's what it's all about. There must be a structure. But some companies do not have that structure.
Mm. Okay. So there's this question I want to ask now. It kind of a little bit connect to the first question I asked. Like, can
Okay.
someone pursue multiple interests without losing focus?
It is possible. I use myself as an example. You know me, Joe. I'm a writer, a short storyteller. I write a lot of creative stuff, publish a lot of, I've got about 5 books out there. I'm also an academic person. I publish in the academic world. I'm also a technical writer. I'm also a business analyst. I'm also a coach. Yeah. Now, I'm also a educational consultant. So you can see that I've got about 5 things there. But something has to suffer anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, can someone pursue multiple interests without losing focus? It is possible. I just use myself as an example.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it has to be with intentionality.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible to have a portfolio career. Yeah. Or to be a multi potentialite, someone with multiple passions and paths. Yeah. Now, here is the thing, though. The key is to prioritize seasons. That's where the key is. Prioritizing seasons. Focus deeply on one or two areas at a time. while keeping others on the back burner. When I met my coach some time ago, he said to me, when you're posting, okay, post, like if you look at my post now, you see I post on LinkedIn, I post on TikTok, I post on Facebook, okay? I post on IT stuff and I post on coaching stuff. I have a day for IT related stuff and I have a day for coaching stuff. It's to create that balance, to prioritize. You see what I'm saying? So structure your week or your year to allow room for different interests. Example, 9 to 5 job. I have a 9 to 5 job, yeah?
Yeah.
And a weekend creative pursuits. Yeah. I'm a sportsman as well. I do a lot of sports activities. I go to nature. I take photography. So I have time for that as well. I use weekends for that. Yeah. The danger isn't in having many interests. It's trying to do everything at once without clarity or discipline.
Okay. Thank you so much for that explanation. My next question: what mistake do bring it towards our?
Okay.
What are the mistakes that people from our community often make when they want to choose a career?
Thank you for that, Joe. One common mistake is choosing a career based solely on societal pressure
Mhm. Which is a
or
massive one.
what I would call perceived security.
Mhm.
It's a mistake, common mistake people make, especially people from diverse backgrounds.
Mhm.
You're making it societal pressure.
Mhm.
What is the society thinking? Oh, they think that IT is where it's happening now.
Mhm.
Oh, AI is where it's happening now.
Mhm.
Oh, it's happening here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Oh, this area, you go into the civil service, it's secure. You can get anything you want from the civil service. You can take leaves, job security, and all of that kind of stuff. Rather than alignment with personal strengths and values. I cannot overemphasize this, Joe.
Yeah.
Personal strengths and values. Whatever you do has to align with your personal strength because you need to use your strength. Others may limit their options due to imposter syndrome, lack of representation, or fear of stepping outside traditional pathways. Oh, doctor, engineering, lawyer, accountancy, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Another is undervaluing creative or non-linear career journeys just because they don't fit a conventional mold. Now, it's essential to give yourself the permission to explore,
Yes.
evolve, and pivot, especially in a rapidly changing world that we're living in today. Give yourself that permission. Don't just be stuck. It's got to be this way because you never know. You just never know.
Yeah. So, in your experience, how can you say that leaning towards those perceived pressure, maybe if I may call it community way of thinking, or maybe being on the secure side, has it in a way dampened or maybe have an impact in our own community?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
I said, can this, the way we look at this, like when choosing a career, look as if we choose a career based on where it's secured or the trend, or maybe being pressured on what maybe community or maybe our environment. Has it had any impact on our community?
I would say it's got an impact. I don't have data to immediately show to you or evidence or statistics to say, but I would imagine it does have. It's had an impact because we live in a in a society where there's a lot of pressure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because the reason I asked, sorry to cut you, the reason I asked that question because recently I was just going through some posts on Facebook and I see where somebody listed some courses, you know, on, I say you should never study these courses. And
Okay.
I look at that list, just massive list of courses, and history is part of it, some other courses. So I look at it, I said, this is part of the problem that people pressure people to maybe study what is in trend or maybe what the community think that is will give them security without allowing them, just like you said, to explore or to, you know, because somebody who studied history, it might not be good in one community or maybe one environment or maybe, but it might be that person may find themselves in another place, or maybe they can evolve, or maybe they can create something out of that that will benefit. So that is the reason I asked that question.
Joe, to begin with, I don't even agree with the fact that people should not study history.
Mhm.
I'm not a historian. I am a social documentarian. However, if I had my way, I would make history a compulsory subject for everybody. Because I believe that history is so important. Why? If you go to a website, yeah, the first question or the first thing you see on the website is all about us.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
about us. The company or the product you're going to,
Yeah.
how it started. Yeah, that's history.
Mm.
We're using computer today. We're using headset today. We're using AI today. How did it start? You see this computer I'm talking with you right now through.
Mhm.
Back in the days, if you go and look at history,
Mhm.
you see how it has transitioned from where it was then to now.
Mhm.
You look at the car, the Mercedes car. You go and look at the first horse and buggy, how it has transitioned. History is so important. Without history, you don't know where you're coming from. You don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, when you look at where we are now, you look at a company. The company says they want to move, yeah,
Mhm.
to in 10 years' time, they see their revenue hitting, let's say, $3 trillion a
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
Look at where are they now? Where were they 10 years ago?
Mhm.
Where were they 2 years ago? That's history. So if you see that they've been able to make that massive leap from
Mhm.
making $100,000 a year to 1,000 to £1 million a year, $1 million a year, and in 10 years' time they want to, you can track it.
Mhm.
So history is so important. That's history. But here is the thing. What the person meant was probably being a traditional history subject. What can you make out of it? Like if you went to university to go and study history, that's when the exploration comes in now. What can you do with history? How can you apply history in today's world and age to add value to the society? That's what we're talking about. So you go into a company, okay, you can do history with business. You can say, okay, in building a website, we need our history. We need facts about when we started. We need facts about who started the company. That's history. So how can you connect it with real life situation that we find ourselves in today to add value? This is the angle I'm coming from now.
Okay, but do you what can you say when people say don't study this course, study this course, don't do this? Is it
I've already expressed
okay?
I've already expressed that I'm not a fan of that,
Mhm.
to say don't study this. However, we must also bear in mind the notion that there are some courses that are coming to an end that is
Yeah.
not very economically viable.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you go to study petroleum engineering, it's coming to an end.
Mm.
Fossil fuels is no longer going to be in vogue because of legislation. This is external factors beyond your control.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, alternative sources to energy is the in thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solar energy.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Wind
go,
turbine.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
many alternative sources of energy.
Mhm.
electric vehicles, you know what I'm saying? Hybrid, this and that, wind energy. So there's so many alternatives, but not fossil fuel. But having said that, fossil fuel is not going to disappear completely because you will still have byproducts of fossil fuel refining like petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
When we say petroleum jelly, even the tar that we use in making roads, these are byproducts of refining oil. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not that it's just that the market has dropped drastically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that explanation. As we wrap up today, like I said, we'll be going on with this career clarity.
Yep.
And to quote with your work experience, give a roadmap to our listeners who like to, and also anyone who wants to ask a question to Mr. Uwem, you can ask on the comment. You'll see your comment, or you can contact him through the lines that we'll put on the description. And so as we wrap up for this section, what do you have to tell our audience?
Whatever you want to do in life, consider your strengths. I can never overemphasize that. Your strength and your value. Everything you have to do has to align with that. These are areas you're not going to struggle with because it's your natural capability. You have to investigate what is your natural capability. It's like an arsenal. Okay. What do I have? What ammunitions do I have in my arsenal? So that you know when to deploy it and how to deploy it. You cannot use an AK-47 to go and kill an ant. Come on, man. You have an AK-47 in your arsenal, but you're not going to use it to kill an ant. So you have to know the strengths you have and know when to deploy them and for what purpose. That is what I have for our audience. And like Joe said, listen, man, stay tuned. We have about 12 episodes coming up on this, and it's going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll come to you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe, and enjoy the rest of your day.